everyone. It's Christine from Hollis Hands Create. It's Friday, March 20th. This is Flosstube number 7. You've reached my channel about cross stitch and a few other things potentially thrown in. Hope everyone is well. Kind of scary times that we're in right now with this coronavirus and people having to shelter in place or social distancing, things like that. So it's definitely kind of scary. As everyone knows, it's 2 weeks post-market, so it's been 2 weeks since my last video, which I did just a quick little blurb from the hotel room in Nashville. So it's been just an extremely busy 2 weeks, and then you kind of throw in some of these things with, you know, this coronavirus going around, and my 2 weeks have been extremely hectic. Just now kind of starting to get to a little bit of a semi-normal routine and getting some sleep, which has been good. I hope you all are very safe and you know, staying healthy, staying well. I kind of wondered, I think we got market just in the nick of time. Obviously, if it had been scheduled a week later, we wouldn't have held market. But I will say the hotel did a fantastic job. There's 4 floors with all those rooms, and as you come off the elevator for each floor, and also at the stairwells, they have had stations set up with drink stations like water and different things, but they also had hand sanitizer stations and things like that for everybody to be able to use. And you saw people coming off the elevator and immediately getting a pump right off of the hand sanitizers, because of course everyone's touching the buttons or trying to use your elbow to touch the buttons to you know, indicate which floor that you're wanting to go to. So anyway, it was very interesting, and to my knowledge, no one that I know has gotten sick, you know, from Nashville. So that's good, and I've got, you know, prayers going out that for those that I don't know and not aware of, that, you know, no one else has gotten ill as well. So it's been interesting. As some of you know, or you've heard me say before, I have 2 daughters and a son, but my 2 daughters, my oldest lives in Italy, and in northern Italy, right outside of Milan, which is the hot spot for this virus, which has been kind of scary. She could have come home as an American, but she would have had to have left her husband behind, who obviously is Italian. She's not going to leave Paolo behind. So they are, you know, basically in their apartment. Paolo is part owner of 2 restaurant and clubs in Milan, and of course both of those have had to close. Right now I think they're closed until April 3rd, but there's a good chance that that's going to get extended. So that's been a little concerning for them, obviously, to, you know, to close down their source of income. And then all the employees that they employ as well are without jobs. One of the reasons Brittany was telling me that they were so severe right from the beginning with immediately closing all those things down is because of the young people. Younger people are generally the ones who frequent the bars and restaurants more than some of the older people, and they're become carriers. A lot of the younger people can withstand this virus easier than some of the older people, from what everybody's been telling us, but they might get it and not show just a few symptoms, but then they are carriers. So that's been a little bit scary. And she told us a couple of days ago that now, even if you're caught out just walking, you're subject to a fine if you're caught, and they're policing it very heavily. They're tracking you through the GPS on your phone. So if you're going to go out and it's for a non-essential reason, you better leave your phone at home. But at this point, I don't know that anybody's wanting to go out. So we're hearing from her daily, giving us little updates, and you know, letting us know that she and Paolo are doing well. Yesterday, she repotted every single one of her plants, whether they needed it or not. I think just to have something to do. So she's, you know, they're hanging in there. My other daughter lives in Seattle, which of course is where the first deaths and the first big hit for the coronavirus here in the U.S. was. So she just was getting over the type A flu and had kind of already been self-quarantining and trying to work from home a little bit for the 2 weeks prior to all of this. And then just as she went in for her very first day back from having had the flu, they got sent home and are working from home indefinitely now because of the coronavirus. But that was a little scary. We were afraid that potentially she actually had the coronavirus rather than the flu. But luckily, in this case, I guess you say luckily, it was just the type A flu, and she's doing really well now. Younger kids are funny. I talked to her yesterday, and she said, well, my gym is we're doing virtual yoga, so I have to go because I have to get in front of my thing, and they were all doing yoga virtually. And then later in the evening, her and two of her good friends, one who's in Colorado now, finishing up his master's, and the other one who's in Nashville, they were going to, they picked a movie, they were all gonna watch the same movie, and then just like text and talk about it as they were watching the movie. So kids are funny. I mean, we're not used to all this virtual stuff. This Flosstube's been a reach for me. So it's just interesting there how quickly they're adapting. But both of them are doing well. And in my son's school, of course, Missouri State, this was their week of spring break. So spring break just got extended for 2 weeks, and then I think they're going to go to distance learning of some kind following that, like somewhere I think around the 27th or something like that of March, that they were going to announce what kind of distance learning based on your classes that you're going to have. So anyway, so we're all doing pretty well. I will go over some of the things that I'm doing to adjust for this COVID-19, but I'll do that a little bit later when I kind of talk about the shop a little bit, so that I just want everybody to know what I'm doing, because I have sent out well over 700 orders in the last 10 days. And I actually started with some of those precautions right from the beginning, just having been aware of it because of being at market. So I'll go over that in just a little bit. I did kind of it was interesting while we were at market, and I had placed quite a few pre-orders with some designers, and then some designers I didn't. I just went into the rooms and purchased as I saw things. But it's funny because everybody seems to remember my shop name, and they're all like, oh, Hollis Hands, Hollis Hands. And one asked me, she goes, that's an interesting name. I had gotten, I don't know, several years back when my mom was doing a lot of cleaning out and things, and she found a tea towel that I had made, and she remembered that it was done at Vacation Bible School, and she thought I was about 3. And I kind of remembered this because it hung up in my room as a little girl for a while. And this is kind of where some of my inspiration for the name Hands, or inserting the word hands into my name, because my mom always said you have creative hands. And both my grandmas were extremely creative, and sewed just about everything, or did every kind of tatting, knitting, crocheting, quilting, you name it. So I just thought I would show you this. And those are my 3-year-old hands. Thank you, God, for hands. And then my hands and my name underneath. And it's something that I'm so thrilled that was preserved and kept, and it's in excellent shape. But that was just done on a tea towel and sent home with us. And she said it was done at like a Vacation Bible School when I was like 3. And so that's just been kind of my thing, is creative hands. So I guess it's been easy now for people to identify my shop and myself, because they all just say, oh, Hollis Hands. And I noticed on all my pre-order bags, it wouldn't be Hollis Hands Create, it would be Hollis Hands written on the bag. So I guess it makes it easy for people to remember me. So that's a good thing, right? So anyway, just thought I'd share that little tidbit with you. What's been going on? One of the things I had one question out of all of the comments this week, and I had asked, what was your favorite chart? So someone asked me, well, what was my favorite? So I thought I would just kind of show you a couple of quick ones from Market that I loved, and then we'll go into some other things post Market. This was really nice. The Happiness is Homemade cookbook. This is a must-have. They started this last year in 2019, and it was so popular that they decided to keep it for 2020. And it's just really good, and shops and designers alike were asked to donate recipes, and then they created the book. And there's, I think last year there were 23 charts. This year I think there's like 20-something charts, little freebies that are included in the cookbook as well. So that's kind of cool. So that was a must-have. So it's very difficult to pick a favorite, but I guess if I had to have a favorite out of all of them, it would probably be the one that I not only have picked as my favorite, but my friend Kristen and she's Blue Bonnets and Whiskey on here, if you want to go check her channel out. We love this one so much that we are starting a sal, and it is the sampler, Berry Bowl Sampler, and it is a joint project between Beth Twist of Heartstring Samplery and Tanya Brockmeyer from the Scarlett House. And I'll just put that a little bit closer. I absolutely love this thing. And at the end of the video, I'll actually insert a picture. I'll actually add some pictures of the models. When you get into the room and you see the models, you're just like, oh my goodness. I mean, they can take really great pictures sometimes for the fronts of these charts, but when you see the model, you're just like, just wowed. Anyway, so that one probably is my absolute favorite, and I've already got it all kitted up and ready to go for the sal. And so I'm really excited about that. If you want to join us, I think we're going to shoot for, well, we were talking about May 1st. It may start a little sooner because now that everybody is kind of stuck in their houses, we may go ahead and start just a little bit sooner, but we also want to give people time to get their supplies. So on Instagram, it'll be Berry Bowl Sal, S-A-L, or hashtag Berry Bowl Sal. So if you want to join us, that would be great. It'd be awesome to see that. Some of the other things that I really loved. I really loved I Collect from Brenda Gervais for With Thy Needle and Thread. And as you know, and I've shown some things, I definitely do some collecting. I talked about the fact that that's my husband and I headed right to the antique stores in Nashville. And so that one was kind of right up my alley. One of the other ones that I really loved, I'll try to get this so there's no glare. Stephanie from Lindy Stitches put out the Tom Turkey kit. Tom, he's strutting Tom. And this is a complete kit. Now, unfortunately, the kits that she did with Lois from Lady Dot Creates are completely sold out. I was very lucky and was able to get 50 of them, and they are all gone. But she does still, if you still want to stitch, she still does have the chart, and she will be putting out just the chart. One of the other ones that I love from La-Di-Da is Two Rabbit Sampler. I'll put this up a little closer so you can see and try to get it where you... These rabbits standing up with the baskets on their back, I absolutely love those. I actually have a rabbit that I'll show you when it's time to decorate for Easter, and he stands up and he's really cool. He's an old one, I've had him for a long time, and he's got a wicker basket on his back with the eggs in it. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's just like my basket, so I had to get that. One of the others that I nabbed for myself is Sweet Finch by Samplers Not Forgotten, and this is actually a kit. So I really love this. I thought it would be really good to have that, because sometimes I don't have a lot of things that are just general summer or spring types of things to maybe put in a dough bowl or just to kind of have sitting around. So I tried to kind of focus on maybe some more of those types of things rather than just all seasonal types of things. One of the other things that I really loved was the Berry Basket pin disc from Stacy Nash. And what really sold me on this is look at that back. It's all hearts. I love that. But because of the size, even though it's all hearts like that, because of the size of the project, it's not going to be overwhelming. And this also is kind of a mini kit. There's the cardboard templates and the ribbon are in here. So that was really nice. Another one that sold out pretty fast, and I've just got to reload, is that I really like this one too, is a Quaker Welcome by Lila Studio. Lila is so talented with all of her Quaker charts, Halloween Quaker and Christmas Quaker, but this one was really nice too. Those houses are great. And then this one tied right up there probably with Berry Bowl Sampler, and that was Newcastle Bouquet. And I have pictures of this one that I'll attach as well. Lila doesn't come to market. She sends her things with Hoffman, so there were no pictures to get of the Quaker, the Welcome Quaker, but the pictures of the Newcastle Bouquet were just fantastic. When you walk into Teresa Kogut's room, she brings everything, and I mean sets up the walls, all 3 walls, just with everything, all her models. And so it's like kid in a candy store, and you're just walking around and looking, and just beautiful, beautiful stuff. And because of the artist that she is, the detail in some of her things are just, fantastic. This was, of course, her first year to jump into the sampler world, and she really knocked it out of the park. So those, if I had to say, were my favorites from market. So there I have answered my question. So because I asked you that question, and I showed you a couple of tumblers from Joseph's workshop, that I asked you to answer that question. What was your favorite one? I picked 2 winners, one for the blue and one for the pink. Actually, I had 50 comments, and so it's not very scientific. I just asked my husband, pick 2 numbers between 1 and 50. So he gave me 2 numbers, and the winner of the blue mug, the Keep Calm and Stitch On, which really is our mantra for right now, was Missouri Stitcher. And I believe that is Mindy Gilliland. I recognize that picture, but I'm pretty sure it's Missouri Stitcher. So the pink Stitch More, Worry Less tumbler goes to Judy Hildebrand. So I will comment on your comments, and if you'll email me your mailing address, I'll put my information, in the box below. And if you'll email me your mailing address, I'll get those right out to you. So that's kind of fun. Okay, so talked about post-market, not much stitching. I pulled out my trusty book of days, and I was so depressed to see that I literally had 2 weeks with nothing. I had market written in, and that was it. This past Tuesday, 2 days ago, a couple days ago, I did pick up a piece that I can't show you because it's actually for the Midwest Cross Stitchers Retreat, and we're not supposed to post our things. But I did get that picked up and get started. Just in case we do still get to go to that retreat, it's the first weekend in May, I want to at least be prepared. So I did start that one, got a small start. And then Wednesday and Thursday, the last couple nights, I did pick up Love One Another, which I had brought into my rotation for the month of March. And I think I showed it to you a couple weeks ago that I was switching out from Halloween Quaker to Love One Another. And I really love that pumpkin. Look at that head. He's so cool. So I got quite a bit done. I got all the vining and the sunflowers and a couple other guys. And here's what that will look like. I should take it out of the plastic. Anyway, here's what that will look like. So I've got quite a bit done. So I did work on him for the last 2 nights, and that's about it. Since my last, well, not this last video, because last video I didn't show anything, but 4 weeks ago now, the 2 weeks prior to market, I did actually start a project, Little Clover Girl, by Pineberry Lane, and I finished it and FFO'd it, mainly because I wanted to have a couple of other things that I could hang up for March, for St. Patrick's type theme kinds of things. I didn't have very many, and I had just gotten that Pineberry Lane chart in for the shop, and I saw it, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna have to have one of these for me. So here's Little Clover Girl. So they're really small. She's like 3.5 by 3.5, or 3.5, 3 by 3.75. And so I've stitched her up, mounted her, put a little bit of batting underneath, mounted it, and then I happened to be zipping through Hobby Lobby to get some scrapbook papers, and this little frame, hanging frame, just hangs, was on an end cap. And I saw it and I was like, oh, that is perfect for what I'm stitching. The colors of these beads really matched the colors very well that were used, and I used all the called for colors from the chart, and the greens seemed to match up perfect. And then I went to my little finishing drawer, and I had some green rickrack that matched, and I was like, wow, that really kind of came together extremely well. So that was my other little thing that I had done. And then you remember I was working on Easter Peep, and I showed you that, and I finished Easter Peep. So I got Easter Peep all finished so that I could actually write him down in my book as a February finish. So I was very excited about that. So I ended up with 4 finishes in February, and I showed you a couple of those, Bless Our Land, and I forget what else was it, Bless Our Land and Union Forever, and I finished those and showed them to you last time, and then this time it was Little Peep, or Easter Peep, and Little Clover Girl. So I was excited about that. So 4 finishes in 1 month. I was feeling very accomplished. So now you see the Little Clover Girl that's hanging around right now. So I have 3 other designs, or 3 other things that I stitched, and some of these were done a long time ago, and I probably, in the world of finishing that we're doing, the FFO, I could go back and redo these, but Lizzie Kate Luck, I stitched this off a long time ago as well, and it's just in a regular 5x5 frame from Hobby Lobby. So that one sits around. This one has been stitched probably 15 years or more. And it's just an Irish prayer. May the Lord keep you in his hand and never close his fist too tight. I really like this. I think it's cute. And it just sits around back here. And then last year, when Kathy Haberman came out with her A Year of Celebrations, I stitched March. I have to get this where I can, so you can see it. So I stitched March and just finished it on a board, a double mounted board. The design is on a board, then this fabric covered board, and I mounted the 2 together, and then again, zipping through Hobby Lobby, I happened to see this grapevine wreath that was in the shape of a 4-leaf clover, and I thought, well, that would be really cute, and it just hangs in between and hangs on the wall. So that's all that's hanging around for this month. So let's move on. Let's go back to some more haul. I actually had some haul that I had gotten in before market, and that I thought I would share with you. Some older things. This one is 3 tulips. I guess I probably should. Some of these with the super glossy plastic, it's kind of hard to to show on here, and this picture is kind of muted anyway. This one, I don't even know if she's got a year. Oh, 2013, so this was an older one. 3 tulips, Brenda Gervais. This is an older one. One that I had seen, you know, I think Jen from Jen's Stitching Niche had stitched this and was showing it, and a while back, and I really loved it, and so I kind of had to go on a search to find it. So I got that one in, and while I was on that same store, I grabbed February Wordplay. Thought, well, I'll try to do this one. I think I might throw this one into my Mania because it'll be an easy one to do and have that for next February. And then I really love the sampler company, Brenda Keys. I've got one of her samplers that I'm almost finished with. It's an old whip, but I picked up a couple more. So this one is Plant Wisdom Sampler. And it says, if happiness be your pursuit, plant wisdom and enjoy the fruit. I love that row of houses and this tree. This tree is really cool. Kind of reminds me of a tree that you would see in like one of the By the Bay needle arts. But it's really neat. So I got that one. And the other one that I got was the Contented Mind Sampler. There's a lot going on in this one, but I really like it. Now she's a big girl. Her stitch count is 359 by 358. So I'm not sure when I'm going to start that one, but I really like it. It says, to no peculiar lot of mind is happiness confined, but in a self-approving heart and firm contented mind. And one of the things that I've always been told is that if we wish for contentment, we don't need anything else because you're content. There's nothing else to wish for. You're content. So when I saw that contentment mind, I was like, well, that makes sense to me. And I did hang on to one of these for myself. All Joys for Thine, Blackbird, because it's a rule that when Blackbird comes out, you buy all the Blackbird. We all know that we mind the rules for Brenda and Laura. And speaking of Brenda and Laura, Brenda on one of her last couples showed this book, Wool, Needle, and Thread, the go-to guide for wool stitchery, right off of Amazon. And she showed it, and then I watched Lisa Smith from Kindred Stitcher right after, and she showed it, and I was like, okay, that's 2 times I'm off to Amazon. So I went and bought that. So I was completely enabled. So anyway, so that's some of my haul. Not too bad. With market coming up, I was like, okay, I gotta take it easy a little bit. So I didn't want to get too crazy. So okay, since this conversation's been so much all about market, I did want to give away 2 charts that were from market. I don't know if everybody watched some of the Silver Creek samplers. There were some things that she released, Diane Grick. She has such a unique way of doing her letters, and as soon as you see any kind of lettering that is in that style, you know that it's from her. But this is Moonshine. Isn't that sweet? And it says, the moon said to me, do not wait to be whole to let your light shine from the depths of your soul. Moonshine. So there's that one. And then she had this fun one that she released. Izzy Decayan. I saw on her Facebook where somebody asked her, well, who is Izzy Decayan? And she said, well, it's a play on words. The skeleton, and it's a question. Is he decaying? He's decaying. So she named it Izzy Decayan. Isn't that cute? Boo and Spirits, casket aged. And then she's got there's a little glass of wine, and he's holding a bottle. Boo and Spirits, Izzy Decaying. So this will be the other. So we'll give those 2 away. Oh, and I forgot to write down a question. Well, I don't know that we need a question. If you're interested in one of these charts, you can just comment and say you're interested in one of these charts, and you could say Izzy Decaying, or you could say Moonshine, and I will search for one of those 2 comments and pick 2 winners for next time. So, okay, so moving right along. I don't want this to be super long, but I did want to kind of go into a little bit of some shop stuff. First, I'm going to talk about, there were a few things that I did pick up. There were some new designers, a couple that were new to market, and a couple just new to me, that I thought I would just feature a couple of them. One is October House Fiber Arts, and this was her first time to market. Her name is Robin. Very nice lady. And I'll just show just a couple. I'm not going to show everything. You can go into the shop, or I'm sure other places as well have it. But she released, this is Malign Sampler. Now, she did this all in navy, but if you wanted to follow the rules and you didn't want to do an all red sampler, red work, that was really large, this would be perfect. The stitch count's only 80 by 92, and you could pick your favorite red, and there you go, and you're not breaking the rules. So I thought that was kind of cool, Malign Sampler. And then she had one called Earth Flower that I really liked. Flowers cover the earth. It's a nice summery with the sunflower. This could be a really cute, this is again 99 by 91, but it's stitched on 28 counts. So if you did it even on maybe a little bit smaller, or you just do all different kinds of things with this one. Make a nice pillow, frame it. And then another one that seems to be fairly popular too is Live a Humble Life. Now this one's a longer 224 by 78. Again, she has it stitched on 32 count parchment, but I really like this red house. And then over here you've got a bee skep. Put it up there so maybe you can see it. But it's just got some really nice elements to it. And then just says across here, Live a Humble Life. So she was new. I think she released maybe 7 or 8 designs at market, and really nice lady. Her name is Robin. Another one that was brand new was Autumn Lane Stitchery. Now, for all of you Halloween stitchers, they really came out with some pretty cool designs, and their use of shadow is really what I think sets off their designs. I showed these to my husband. I was like, what do you think of these? And he's like, oh, those are really cool. The nice thing is I believe on most of these, they just use DMC. But look at this. Moon's out, broom's out. Now, I saw this witch flying across there. First thing I thought of was Bewitched, and Bewitched was my all-time favorite show when I was a kid. I walked around doing this and trying to wiggle my nose to be like Samantha always. But I absolutely love this. Moon's out, broom's out. That is really cool. Another one that they did, look at that. Oh, I'm sorry about that glare. So your choice of fabric behind these would really make a difference on how that design's gonna pop. This one, for instance, this one is stitched on Murky. I think we're all probably fairly familiar with Murky. I should have taken these out of the plastic, sorry about that. but look how the murky showing through behind the stitching just really makes their design pop. And this is done with DMC, and it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 colors in white. So you do have some solid stitching down here and the witch, but it could be really good mindless stitching. So if you did some outlining, and then you could just fill in. So, but the design is just really cool, and they were brand new to market, and that was just 3 of the, I think they had 6 or 7 that they released as well, so I thought I'd show those. And then new to me in my shop was Annie B's full cart. I got into her room and absolutely loved her and loved all of her stuff. So I bought just about everything she had, newer things and a few of the older things as well to have in the shop. One of my favorites that I saw, Count Your Blessings. Look at those birds on top of the house and the little baskets with the rabbits. Aren't they so cute? Put it up there a little closer. I love those. Love that, love that. And then, oh, that plastic. I tell you, I'm sorry guys, I should have taken these out beforehand. When you're grabbing things and kind of trying to prep, sometimes you don't have your head screwed on totally. Okay. Little pink houses. Love this. Love, love, love this. I love the use of all of the white work. It just looks so lacy. And cameo pink, I believe she used in that. So it's just so delicate looking. Really pretty. And then one that would be a good one, and actually pretty easy to stitch too, because it's not real solid stitching, is Bunny and Bee. And this is a new release, market release. And I've got a picture of the model of this one that I'll attach at the end. Really like that one too. And that one you could leave up, you could put that one out in the spring and leave it up all the way through the summer. And then this one, I really liked as well. And then she told me the story behind how she did this, and the reason that it has, the way that it was done is the Malign Sampler. And she stitched this for her daughter, and she stitched it several years ago. She finally released it. But isn't this so neat? Look at the fencing, and it's just this lattice work here. It says, "The Lord made the family, and within it he dwells." And it's a pink house, but you could make that house whatever color you wanted. Anyway, this one, the model again, was just, it immediately just kind of drew you to it. So anyway, so I added a ton of stuff from Annie B's into the shop, and I had not carried her things before. So that was kind of exciting. So anyway, come in, take a look and see. Believe it or not, I actually am still listing. I was so blown away with orders. I will tell you that when I started shipping this past Tuesday, the 10th, I started that morning with 370 orders to ship out. And then I was keeping track each day of what was getting added on at the end. And today is the 20th, so it's been 10 days of shipping, and I've sent out 723 orders. So it's been very busy. With that volume of orders, and my hands are pretty raw. Just kind of want to go in and just kind of reassure everybody. Obviously, I get in shipping supplies. I get in, there were some orders, some things that had to be shipped aftermarket. A big one, and what has caused one of the delays in some of those orders going out has been Mountain Air Fabrics. Still waiting on that, but I did get a shipping notice yesterday, so hopefully that will be in, and I'll get the rest of those orders, people waiting for that fabric to come out. So we are following guidelines for every one of these boxes. You're supposed to set the boxes out somewhere for 24 hours. And so we're kind of wiping everything down, sitting them out for 24 hours, and then my husband's cutting them up. And he's rotating in what has just come in, and then I use those boxes as board to put into the packages so that your things aren't bent up in the mail. So he's rotating what has come in, what's been cut up, and we're trying to make sure that we're keeping track. We are wiping everything down. My scissors are getting cleaned numerous times a day. The palette knives that he's cutting things up, those are getting cleaned. Door handles, you name it. Everything, each time we're introducing something new into our environment here, we're doing hand sanitizer and Clorox bleach wipes, the antiviral wipes. I think they say 99.9%. I was very lucky in that when my daughter first got to Italy and things over there, the news over there was ahead of what we were getting here in the U.S. She had messaged and said, we can't find anything here. Hand sanitizer, wipes, all that stuff is gone. So I had gone to Walmart when everything were still real plentiful, and I bought a ton because we were going to ship it to her. And then just as we'd kind of gotten the box packaged and everything ready to ship to her, we found out that they were pulling boxes open and you were not allowed to send any of that stuff overseas. And so luckily we hadn't already mailed it, and then it would have been lost somewhere. Obviously it would have been open and somebody would have just taken the things. So I have tons. So we have wipes and all, because in just about every room, and we are just really making sure we take precautions that nothing is that was new being introduced into our house is then going out to anybody else. So my hands are like parchment right now, but they'll recover. So just kind of wanted to share that with everybody too, just to hopefully ease your mind. And if anybody's got any questions or anything, feel free to let me know. So I think we've covered everything. Please stay healthy, stay well. Social distancing is huge, or if you are having to, stay in place, then, be safe there as well. We'll all get through this together. Just like my whip that I'm working on, love one another, kind of inspiring me, and I hope it inspires you. And until we talk again in a couple of weeks, try to create every day and stay well. Thank you.